The air crackled with teenage energy. Music pulsed. Laughter echoed. It was a typical high school party, full of awkward flirting and too loud music.
Who's up for it? Bloody Mary, anyone?
Seriously? That's just a dumb story.
But his eyes darted nervously to the bathroom mirror down the hall. She hated scary stories. But peer pressure was a powerful force. Only Ben, Jenna's mischievous twin, looked genuinely excited.
Let's do it! What could go wrong?
That's the spirit.
She grabbed Emily's hand and pulled her towards the bathroom. The others followed, apprehension heavy in their chests. The hallway seemed to stretch, the party noises fading behind them. Reaching the bathroom, Jenna flicked on the light. The fluorescent bulb buzzed, casting a sickly yellow glow on the old tarnished mirror. Jenna closed the door behind them, plunging the room into darkness, only the single candle flickering. The air grew thick and heavy, as if a weight had settled upon their chests. The room felt colder. The scent of mildew and something else, something ancient and unpleasant, filled their nostrils.
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
The others joined in, their voices trembling at first, then gaining confidence. The candle flickered violently, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The mirror, once dull, seemed to shimmer and pulse. A low hum resonated around them, growing louder with each chanted word. Emily wanted to scream, to run, but her feet felt rooted to the spot. Fear, cold and clammy, gripped her heart. The chanting reached a crescendo. The air crackled with unseen energy. Then, silence. The silence stretched, thick and suffocating. Just as they thought it was over, a blood-curdling scream ripped through the quiet. Emily's eyes flew to the mirror. A figure, tall and skeletal, with long, sharp claws, materialized within its depths. Its eyes, two burning embers, stared directly at them, filled with rage and malice. The figure lunged, its scream echoing around them. The mirror shattered, shards of glass flying like deadly projectiles. The teenagers screamed, scrambling back in terror. The bathroom door slammed shut, trapping them with the malevolent entity. Panic seized them, their blood turning to ice in their veins. They were trapped, with no escape from the wrath of Bloody Mary. The entity, a whirlwind of rage and shadow, attacked with a ferocity that seemed almost otherworldly. Its presence was a dark storm, a maelstrom of anger and despair, swirling with an intensity that sent shivers down the spine of anyone who dared to look upon it. The teenagers scattered, each haunted by their own personal nightmare. Their hearts pounded in their chests, their breaths came in ragged gasps, and their minds were filled with a terror that seemed to have no end. They ran through the dark, eerie settings, their footsteps echoing in the silence, each one feeling the cold grip of fear tightening around them.
I can't move. I can't scream. My body feels like it's been turned to stone, and my voice is trapped somewhere deep inside me. The fear is so overwhelming, it's like a physical weight pressing down on me, making it impossible to do anything but stand here, frozen in terror.
Jenna, always the brave one, found herself paralyzed, her screams stuck in her throat as the specter stalked her with chilling slowness. She had faced many challenges before, but nothing had prepared her for this. The specter's eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and its presence seemed to suck the warmth from the air around her, leaving her shivering and helpless.
What is this? No, it can't be real. This has to be some kind of nightmare, some twisted figment of my imagination. But the fear is too real. The sights and sounds too vivid. I can feel my heart racing, my palms sweating, and I know that this is no dream. This is a living nightmare, and there's no waking up from it.
Josh, his skepticism shattered, was tormented by visions of his deepest fears, each more horrifying than the last. He had always prided himself on being rational, on not believing in ghosts or monsters. But now, faced with the undeniable reality of the specter, he felt his sanity slipping away. The visions came in waves, each one more terrifying than the last, leaving him gasping for breath and clutching at his chest. He stumbled blindly through the darkened bathroom, the air thick with the stench of decay. The walls were covered in grime, and the floor was slick with something he didn't want to think about. Every step was a struggle, every breath a battle against the overwhelming sense of dread that filled the room. He could hear the specter behind him, its footsteps echoing in the silence, and he knew that he was running out of time.
The walls, they're closing in. I can feel them pressing against me, squeezing the air from my lungs. The room is getting smaller and smaller, and there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The fear is suffocating, and I can feel myself starting to panic. I have to get out of here, but I don't know how.
Emily, her fear reaching a fever pitch, found herself in a twisted version of the bathroom, the walls closing in, the air heavy and suffocating. She had always been claustrophobic, and now her worst nightmare was coming true. The walls seemed to pulse with a life of their own, pressing in on her from all sides, and she could feel her chest tightening, her breaths coming in short, panicked gasps.
Get away from me! No, please, no, I can't take this anymore. The fear is too much, it's overwhelming me. I can feel it crushing me, suffocating me. I have to get away, but there's nowhere to go. The specter is everywhere, its eyes burning into me, its laughter echoing in my ears. I can't escape, and I don't know how much longer I can hold on.
And Ben, his usual cocky grin replaced by a mask of terror, was chased by spectral figures, with eyes like burning coals, their hollow laughter echoing around him. He had always been the confident one, the one who never backed down from a challenge. But now, faced with the specters, he felt his courage deserting him. The figures seemed to be everywhere, their eyes burning into him, their laughter filling his ears. He ran as fast as he could, but no matter how far he went, they were always right behind him. Trapped in their separate nightmares, the teenagers were easy prey for the vengeful spirit. Each one was isolated, alone in their own personal hell, with no way to reach out to the others. The spirit fed on their fear, growing stronger with each passing moment, and the teenagers could feel its power closing in on them. They knew that they had to find a way to escape, but the fear was so overwhelming, it was hard to think, hard to plan. All they could do was hope that somehow they would find a way to survive. As the spirit toyed with them, Jenna stumbled upon a loose floorboard. Prying it open, she found a small, leather-bound journal hidden within. The journal was old, its leather cover worn and cracked, hinting at the many years it had been hidden away. Jenna's fingers trembled as she lifted it, feeling the weight of the past in her hands. Frantically, she flipped through the brittle pages, her heart pounding. Each page revealed more about the life of the girl who had once owned it. The handwriting was delicate, and the ink faded, but the emotions were palpable. Jenna could almost hear Sarah's voice whispering through the words, telling her story of joy, sorrow, and ultimately, despair.
This belonged to Sarah. She lived here a century ago. She was just a young girl like us, but her life was filled with so much pain. She wrote about her dreams, her fears, and the cruel prank that shattered her world.
The journal belonged to Sarah, a young girl who lived in the house a century ago. Sarah wrote of a cruel prank played on her, a betrayal that broke her heart and drove her to a tragic end. The pages detailed how her friends had tricked her into summoning Bloody Mary, a spirit said, to grant wishes, but at a terrible cost. Sarah had summoned Bloody Mary in her grief and despair, only to become her prisoner, trapped within the mirror's depths. The journal described the haunting presence that had tormented Sarah, driving her to the edge of sanity. Jenna could feel the weight of Sarah's sorrow, the depth of her despair, and the darkness that had consumed her.
She wasn't evil, just a tortured soul. There's a way to help her. We have to find a way to perform the counter-ritual mentioned in the journal. It's the only way to free her and put an end to this haunting.
Reading Sarah's words, Jenna felt a surge of sympathy for the tormented spirit. She realized that Bloody Mary wasn't inherently evil, but a tortured soul seeking release from her spectral prison. The journal's final pages held the key to breaking the curse, a counter-ritual that could appease Sarah's spirit and bring her peace. The journal mentioned a counter-ritual, a way to appease Sarah's spirit and break the curse. Jenna knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to try. She gathered her friends, explained what she had found, and together they prepared to face the darkness. They knew the risks, but they also knew that they had to help Sarah find peace. The past had whispered its secrets, and now it was up to them to listen and act. Hope surged through Jenna. She gathered her friends, their faces pale and drawn, their eyes reflecting the horrors they had witnessed. The air was thick with tension, and the weight of their shared fear was almost palpable. They had been through so much together. And now, they were on the brink of something that could either save them or doom them forever.
There's a way to stop her. We have to perform a counter-ritual. It's not going to be easy, but it's the only chance we have. We need to gather all our courage and face this head-on.
She explained about Sarah's journal, the tragic story of betrayal and despair, and the ritual that could set the spirit free. The journal was old, its pages yellowed with age, but the words were clear and filled with sorrow. Sarah had been wronged, and her spirit had been trapped in a cycle of vengeance ever since. The counter-ritual was their only hope to break this cycle.
A counter-ritual? What do we have to do? The question hung in the air, heavy with uncertainty. They all knew that whatever it was, it wouldn't be simple.
We need to stand before the shattered mirror and with genuine sorrow and regret apologize for the pain inflicted upon Sarah, acknowledging her suffering and asking for her forgiveness. It's not just about saying the words. We have to mean them. We have to show her that we understand her pain and that we're truly sorry.
It's our only hope. We have to try. The determination in their voices was clear, but so was the fear. They were stepping into the unknown, and the stakes couldn't be higher. It's a long shot, but we have no other choice. The reality of their situation was sinking in. They were out of options, and this was their last chance.
The counter-ritual was simple, but required unwavering courage and remorse. It was a long shot, a desperate plea to a vengeful spirit. But it was their only hope. They had to dig deep within themselves to find the strength to face Sarah's spirit and offer their heartfelt apologies. The room was filled with a tense silence as they prepared themselves for what was to come. Each of them knew that this moment would define their fate. With a final collective breath, they stepped forward, ready to confront the past and seek redemption. The air was thick with an uneasy stillness as the last words of the counter-ritual echoed through the room. A sudden chilling breeze swept through, extinguishing the candles and plunging them into darkness. As the lights flickered back on, Jenna and her friends stood frozen, their breaths shallow. Slowly they realized that the oppressive weight had lifted. The curse was finally broken. They exchanged glances, relief mingling with exhaustion. The ordeal had left them scarred, but they had survived. Jenna spoke softly. "We must never speak of Bloody Mary, ever." Her friends nodded in agreement. They knew the mirror held a dark history best left forgotten. With one last look at the broken mirror, they turned and walked away. The mirror remains, an ominous reminder of the horrors it once unleashed. Subscribe for more, and don't forget to share if you dare. More new thrills soon.